What's up, YouTube? Devil's Details Diecast back here with a custom build. This van pretty much needs no introduction. As we all know, this is the famous Matchbox Chevy van in one of its many versions. This one actually has a plastic base. It's a 1981 Chevy in this neon yellow 80s Tampo style. And this is for the Three Blind Mice Vantastic build. Kind of have a couple ideas for this one. One being I want to drop this van to the ground. I'm not planning on keeping the 4x4 chassis on this, so I will have to do a lot of modification to this base, mainly taking out these big, I don't even know what you call those, 4x4 supports, we'll call them. Sorry, I'm not a mechanic. But, yeah, I want to drop this van to the ground, pretty much make it a lowrider van, and have a couple ideas kicking around for graphics, but I haven't decided yet on what I'm going to do. So this one is fresh out of the package, so we shouldn't have any issues with condition, and we'll figure it out as we go. So stick around for that, and we'll see what we come up with. Alright, so here's the update on our Vantastic build, and this is probably way more work than I even needed to do for this build, but I was going for a certain height on the van, and you're probably looking at this thing like, what the hell is this? Well, this is the interior glass, and this is the chassis that I found to work with it. I think it's out of a Land Rover Matchbox. I thought it looked kind of funny, so I figured I would film it. What I basically did was glued the interior to the glass. I painted the tops white because these are going to be like those vent fans. This is going to be an exterminator truck, so not sure if I mentioned that already in the video, but it's going to be an exterminator van, and those are just going to be like the white vents on the top. These are 3D printed wheels. They do need a little bit of touch up with the paint, but they got beefier wheels in the back and smaller in the front. But I wanted it to sit lower, obviously, than the big Baja style. These are my front end pieces. Well, the front end piece and the rear bumper, I chromed those up. Those will be getting a little bit of weather treatment there. And here is the body. I did fill in the back window as best I could. I used the Bondo. I probably should have used the Milliput first. And there's my paint. I got paint on my finger, and I got paint on the casting, which isn't a big deal. This is going to be a working van. I'm not going to make it dirty, but it's not going to be like a pristine custom either. I've kind of given up on doing the pristine customs for the most part. I'm just not a pristine customs guy. I'm too messy. But anyway, in any event, this is going to be just a gray, work van. But anyway, I used the Bondo glazing and spot putty, and I probably should have used the Milliput first to get a better fill on the windows. I did it like 3 or 4 times, and then a couple of layers of primer, and then a couple layers of paint, and I still have that dimple there. I'm not too worried about it because I'm going to have my decals go over there, so it's going to hide most of it, so I'm not too concerned. Back to the build itself. This is again going to be the interior, and then once we get the body situated, that's pretty much how it's going to stand. Just a little bit of tweaking needs to be done, but that's going to be the underside. I don't think I'm going to put a piece on the bottom. I don't really care about the fit and finish at this point. I'm not going to sell it. It's not going anywhere. It's going to probably sit on my custom shelf, so not really too concerned with fabricating a bottom. Maybe I'll put a piece of styrene just so I can call it finished, but once I attach the front end, you know, and the bumper, for the most part it's going to be finished anyway, and then I'll throw on the decals. So I like how it sits. I think it sits perfect for a work truck. Even though it's kind of a sport van, I was kind of thinking maybe this guy, you know, had a sport van back in the day, and then as he got older, he got out of the sport van and needed a work truck and just converted it over to his work truck, started a business. It does roll nicely. I did the tubes just on the bottom of the interior there. So it actually all came together pretty nicely, I think. So gonna go ahead and get some detailing done and get the decals on and have our final reveal, so stick around. And if you remember, this is what we started with. The famous 1981 Chevy van from Matchbox. And this neon yellow with 80s graphics, plastic base, and those famous Matchbox 4x4 wheels. And here's what we came up with. And here it is, folks. Devil's Details die-cast pest control for all your vermin needs. Rats, mice, raccoons, possums, whatever might be infesting your home. This is a really fun build. Scratch built the ladder rack on top and the ladder itself out of styrene. I went with a wooden ladder just to kind of add some color contrast, since the van was gray and the ladder rack is kind of like an aluminum color or metal color. I don't want to do like a metal ladder as well. Thought it would be too much grayscale, so I went with a wooden ladder. Like I said, this guy's kind of a do-it-yourselfer, kind of started his own business, so I figured maybe that's all he had at the moment was kind of just a straight wooden ladder. Did up some custom decals on the sides and weathered it up a little bit and put it on the turntable. So not much else to say, except one of the first cars that doesn't really have a chassis. I went over this in the build process. Kind of funny. Can't really tell anything from, you know, the final product, other than basically it doesn't really have like a bottom finished trim piece, but whatever. Doesn't really show. And if I wouldn't have shown that bottom, you guys would have had no idea. So we'll just keep it our little secret. I'd like to thank George and Paul from the Three Blind Mice for hosting yet another great build. Make sure you check out all the other builders. And until the next one, be well.
I do what I do just to survive. Come along and ride on a fantastic ride. Try to ride. That's why I pack my life is a trip and then you die. Still trying to get a piece of that apple pie. Every game ain't the same, cause the game still remain. Don't it seem kinda strange? Ain't a damn thing changed. If you don't work, then you don't need it. And on the damn thing, others can ride with me.